Hello, this video is about the grand scheme of things in my belief. I believe in a state of equilibrium and the anthropic principle. First, equilibrium is that in string theory, they're starting to link forces. You have the electric force, the magnetic force, the strong force, the weak force, the atomic forces, and then gravity. 5 main forces. There's also dark energy and dark matter, which are kind of new. I'm going to go over those in a different video. I don't have time to do those in this one. But so far we have linked the electric force, the magnetic force, electromagnetic force of course, and both of those, or that single force, to the weak force, the electric weak. Weak is also radiation, but that's not important. I believe that we can link that force to the strong and also gravity into one super force, I suppose you could call it, and that's also what quantum physics is working on right now. I believe with enough time we'll find how that works, and that is because they have to be linked for equilibrium to exist. If any one of those cosmological constants were to change, the rest would follow suit, and equilibrium could exist again. I've heard people say if gravity was any different, a little different, it wouldn't allow life to exist. Well, obviously life exists, and if any one of those cosmological constants, were to change, all the other ones would follow suit and life would be able to exist again and under different physical circumstances. However, that there may be instances in physics or the constant wise where life doesn't exist. And under those circumstances, there would be no observers to observe their lack of existence. And this is kind of where the anthropic principle would take over. Because the people, the humans, the beings, the observers inside the universe have to abide by the same physics that the universe they live in. Obviously this is pretty logical. And that if the physics was any other way in our universe, we would observe it as such. And if physics did not allow life, well then there wouldn't be life to observe its lack of existence. I know I said that already, but I just thought I'd repeat it. So if the universe was any other way, we would be seeing it that way and questioning it again. Well, why is it that way? Instead, we're left with what we have from, I guess, random chance. I know you don't want to hear that, but look at it this way, is that the Powerball, the odds of winning the Powerball for American Lottery, is that it's 1 in 200 some million. Now, we do the Powerball, I think, twice a week. So the odds that the 1 week of Powerball, 2 drawings, is 1 in 200 million squared, that it happened in that exact order. The first one was 1 in 200 million, the second one was 1 in 200 million again. Square them, that's your new odds. Now take this over the course of the entire Powerball's lifetime, that the odds that the numbers have been drawn in that order for all those years, the odds are so outrageous that the Powerball should technically just say, well, that's impossible. The odds that I have done this exactly this many times in succession in this order is impossible, and I don't know, implode on itself, I suppose. And so the fact of the matter is that random chance isn't that crazy to think about. The universe is very large, and I think that we just think we're special because it's so large we don't see it happening anywhere else near us, and we think, I don't know, like I said, I think we think we're special, when in reality we are just a planet that was the right distance away from the sun, that went through the right circumstances to allow life to exist. Evolution took over, and boom, we're able to recognize our own existence, that we think we're these supreme species, that there must be a God because we're far too advanced, which also plays into general human incompetence. I think that we're not smart enough to realize the simplicity of evolution, and therefore we think there has to be a God. That evolution could not make something as complicated as a human being, because what we think is complicated actually isn't that complicated. It's just we're not smart enough to understand it. We're not even smart enough to understand our own brain, really, and that's what's doing the thinking. So that's that part. I guess I'm going to swing over to the Big Bang. I think that people have a big problem with creating something out of nothing, and that is not what I believe. I believe in string theory, in this case more specifically membrane theory, that there are, one step back here again, is that for Christians, God always was, always is, and always will be. It's kind of like their constant. God was not created, He always has been. My God in those terms is that there is an infinite amount of space and energy which also yields mass, of course, with Einstein's equation, that exists. So it's this infinite space energy, I don't know, that's it. Just this infinite space and energy, and inside that space and energy are obviously multiple dimensions and multiple universes that are inside membranes that expand or contrast depending on constants inside the membrane. And the Big Bang was just a result of two membranes touching, exploding, and basically emptying what matter was inside those membranes into our universe. So it's not something out of nothing. It's just our something in the grand scheme of the somethings that has been going on for eternity. Now you most likely don't like the infinite space energy, but I don't like your infinite God. So I suppose you're just going to have to get used to the fact that your always was, always is, and always will be is my space, infinite energy. And you really can't argue it. I mean, you can if you like to, like I said, because I'll just say your God is the same thing, so what's the big deal? And if you think God is less complicated than space and energy, I think that I think that's pretty foolish. Whatever. Alright, continuing. So the Big Bang is not something out of nothing. It's a result of two membranes touching, and if this is disproven, I'll have to come up with something else. Until then, I'll hang on the theory. I like it. So what else we have here? That was equilibrium, anthropic principle, the Big Bang, evolution. We see the universe as it is because we observe it, we're living in it. If it was any other way, we would observe that same way. That's pretty logical. I think that's all I really have to say. I guess actually, I think that's everything. I might do a part 2 if I come up with something else. I think that's about 6, 7 minutes. So I hope you enjoyed. Any questions, again, just email me or message me, whatever. I'll try to answer them in a video, I think. I know I'm missing something, but I think you get the picture. But thank you for your time, I suppose, and hope it was interesting. Peace.